I would say a very argumentative person. I like to question my environment. I like to know what's up like.
Should I shock you? Should I shock you? When you wanted to start this discussion, you moved your chair away from her and away from common. And so you told me that you are someone who takes the other post naturally. And I'll have said that when I got to you. You move so strong that the way you are sitting, you moved your chair away from everybody who was sitting.
Yes. Well, now, to me, it now looks like this. How would I sit down, or okay, not sit down particularly, but just make an assumption about this person because this person looks like this?
That's the...
Now, let me finish, please. To me, it looks more like that's not scientific enough. It's more like... No. I wouldn't say
it's not worry. It's more like what?
No. But to me, that's why I said it is art.
Okay, that's why I say it is art.
Exactly.
More than art than science.
Exactly.
More of an art than science.
Now to me, it's more like, but it actually has to be scientific.
You're an imitative person. No. You know why? Okay. You're attempting to do a lot, something that people do. You see, the two of them have been sitting most of the time, almost in the same sitting posture, but they are two different persons. And so because their shoulder is looking at me straight all the time, and they're only moving their head to follow my conversation, doesn't mean that trait psychologically means the same thing. The attempts of science to stereotype human beings is the challenge you're facing. Understand ab initio that human beings are not stereotyped. That one person is a million persons in one. Psychology rule number one. The moment you do that, because you will take a conciliatory tone with me on some other issues, the same you will shift your seat because you are taking a posture. The same you will drive my car to get to your house. The same you will not now go and be drinking gutter water. Because human beings don't drink gutter water. But the same you will disagree with people and take a posture against the whole world. The same you, under different circumstances and contexts, are different persons. Not one person. If you understand that law, then we are getting somewhere. Number two is that there are predominant classifications of different types of human psychology and behavior. She mentioned one of them, sanguine. Those classifications in themselves are weak. This is the inherent weakness we are discussing now, which is they are attempting to stereotype human beings. It's not a correct thing in psychology. Shape, size, context, circumstance, and environment are all factors at play. Some people argue nature-nurture debate. It doesn't exist. There's no debate between the two. Both of them are very correct. Some people say it's all nature. Some people say it's all nurture. It's not correct. Both of them are playing. Do you understand what I'm saying? Another thing is that if you study sufficiently long enough sanguine, when you see one, you begin to know one. Just by the way they laugh, just by the way they smile, just by the way they behave, you begin to pick them up. And if you decide to go far deep into the studies like I've done, yes, why not? You can do some predictability. But because I am, for example, what I'm doing here, I've used project management, I've used my knowledge of engineering, I've used my knowledge of psychology. If I want to now talk about a program that you can do, I'm using my knowledge of marketing, advertising, marketing communication, how creativity works, the principle of interruption, the principle of disruption, what do people buy, the principle of branding. I'm using all of that, and I'm mixing it with psychology, which is for your person. What will you do that so, and you see, there's nothing like somebody's a mathematics specialist. That mathematics specialist, you understand, sleeps on bed made with wood. He eats food. That man's actually a little part of his life. That job he does, a little part of his life actually. Alone. He's an English expert, a verbal expert. How does he communicate the maths that he knows? He doesn't write English. Won't he type English? So people think that human beings are over specialized. Not correct. The Creator made eyes to see, and hands to walk, and legs to be walking, and ear to protect. He made, so you are dealing with several parts in one. Do you understand? What I've just done is to add some study and science and practice to my natural instincts, desires, and for me, again, it's an assignment. My assignment, in short, is to help you find the assignment. If you attempt to understand assignments from the logical perspective, you run into the problem you're running into. If you attempt to academize assignments, you run into the logic you're running into, because you're going to make loads of unfair things on the road. From an assignment perspective, the band has no business being popular. It's actually a misnomer against this lady. It's a misnomer for Two-Face to be popular against Kamal. From an assignment, from a logical, academic perspective. But from an assignment perspective, he's the one. Let me tell you, from a logical perspective, Two-Face Idibia should not be higher as a musician than D'banj. He is higher than D'banj because he's playing an assignment game. What does Oprah Winfrey do that this lady cannot do? Oprah and this person will sit. And what it will remain is brass network and experience between her and Oprah. She has all the energy and all the gegege to cry on TV, to evoke emotion. She has everything possible she can do, like that kind of Oprah show. She can mirror Oprah step by step. Nobody in Nigeria has been able to do it. I can put my bet on her. The only problem I have, because of temperamental issues, is our discipline to stay. Is the fact that I don't want to go to studio this morning. I'm feeling sad. Somebody just jilted me and she still appears to present the show. Is the problem I might have with her. But watch again that I don't say negative things about people. For example, I knew her weakness, but I didn't mention that. Because it's not necessary in the talent game. In the talent and success game, your weakness is not a major problem. At some point in the future, it can be a major, it will be a major problem. But by then, you'll have had sufficient success using that talent so that you find energy to move above it. When 10,000 people are waiting for her show. So let's assume that she lost a relative or somebody jilted her. Because there are 10,000 people, something will move her leg to studio. But it's not important at the beginning now to burden her with that you must watch your emotion. You must be focused on hard work. What we are telling her is that success is hard and developing that talent is hard. Let her be in the gym first. Life will balance the equation out. So, the problem with academic is that they will tell you now, or logic, that these are the things you must be careful now. If you are not perfect, you cannot enter town with your talent. That's not correct. That's academic work. It's called zero defect. To make all the mistakes in the lab and come out perfect. That's not real life. Real life is that you fire before you are ready, then come and take aim based on the firing or misfiring. Fire before you are ready, then come back and take aim. When is knowledge most sweet to help you? When is knowledge most sweet? Is it when the challenge has not arisen, so you are reading it in like a textbook? Or when there is a real problem, I now go and read to solve that problem? So real life is full of imperfections. You are trying to use logic and perfection to run the world. It doesn't work that way. Who told you I cannot be wrong? So I have to put myself in a zone of discomfort and being wrong and being controversial. Only then can I stand for people and tell people who they are. Otherwise, there will be no benefit. Nobody here now would say that what you did today is useless. Please don't come again next time. And people have experienced me here. They are back here. If we call this class again a third time, they will come. But imagine I decide to academize it. I say it must be logical. I must understand step 1. Everything must be perfect. I'll be there 10 years. Nobody will have the benefit of even criticizing. How it will get better is being on the way. You guys are going to come and tell me that, bros, you see that thing you were doing. Somebody told me that never ask me again whether you are right or wrong. Or somebody gave me that feedback. I used to do it before. Am I right? Am I wrong? So no, what kind of rubbish is that? You know how much money you have spent on this thing? You know how much time you have spent on this thing? What kind of rubbish is that? If you are wrong, let them take a hike, enter third mainland, jump inside lagoon. It's your gift. If I'm wrong, I'm on camera. If I'm wrong, I'm willing to go watch myself and say I need to change it. That's real life. So don't academize talent. It's a complex conversation, which is why our schooling systems have failed. I'm going to, God will help me, I'm going to actually, I'll say in Yoruba, my dad's education, I'm going to enter education, I will cause eternal disruptions. There are people that have no business studying more than the mass of counting money. She should not be in a class where you teach her differentiation. She should not be in that class. She has no business on the earth knowing differentiation and integration. She won't use it in a lifetime. Once she's able to count money, read science, understand what 13 kilometers is, and function as a human being with the amount of mass that she knows, that's all she needs in life. But traditional educational systems pack all of us with everything, which made me study engineering when I had no business in it. I should have studied psychology. My first degree should have been psychology. My first degree should have been psychology. Or worst case, law. Worst case, something not far. But I went to do engineering, electronics, computer engineering. Complex maths. Of course, I had a tutu, of course. I was not designed to do maths. The complex the numbers look, the more fearful I go. But I had friends who used to read engineering like this. They would just be flipping the book. They read the entire syllabus in 30 minutes. They would regurgitate. Heavy mathematicians. Longer the formulas got, the more intelligent the guys became. Once the formulas look, in engineering, there are formulas that you do from one end to the other end. The 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 lines. Then they clean it and say that is part 1. You are going to write formulas that are 16. They'll be cleaning the word 16. What are you talking? My brain. The first question they ask, my brain has gone out of the window. I say, what is this now? So I have another question. I can spend time on this because it's a fundamental error that people have in development.
Okay, you said so much already, and now maybe I understand. It's just like what I speak to a particular thing, and we talk religion a lot of the time. And
Religion or Christianity, there are two different things.
No,
but don't worry, let's talk religion.
I'm just saying, no, it's more like it tells you don't engage in the discussion about religion because you will end nowhere. And that is the truth. Because in most cases, it's just, okay, now let's bring it into Christianity. Now it's something about religion. Yes or no, forget about trying to rationalize it. You won't get anywhere when you try to rationalize it. You just have to accept it the way you happen to do it. And that's on one side. Now, I understand you more now because it's almost like I can see a replay of myself in what you are doing. I can always tell you now that you don't forget things easily.
If they pertain to human beings and occurrences, if it's mass, I'll forget.
That's why I said I hate maths. To me, it's almost like I have a rap. Now I have a song which says almost the same thing you just said now. And to me, there was a line where I said something like, should we focus on education or skill acquisition? Now it's more like I'm not.
Or let me modify that for you. No. Let me modify that. Education should be towards competence and skill acquisition.
Exactly, something like that.
That's what you're saying.
It's more like I think about so many things. Now, I think there is a school in France where all they do is ballet. It's all about arts and all that kind of thing. Now, I got to a point where I said I'm not anti-literature only or math. What I'm just trying to say is that we need to focus more on talents than that. Now,
That the education, see the word education, please, I want you guys to listen to this. has its root in Latin word called educo. Educo means from within out. The reason for education is to educate, to bring out what is inside you out. That's what it's meant to do. Not to shove you with things from the outside that will now... It's a failure of the educational system. Failure. And please understand, no, hold on, no, it's not a Nigerian problem alone. The whole world, no, it's not, sir. It's not, don't make that mistake. The talent education mismatch is a global failure. Bros, go listen to Sir Ken Robinson and what he's saying about education. Education professors all over the world, they are fighting him. It's a battle. The truth, what you are saying about Nigerian education is that it is backward compared to the global standard. But the mistake that is making somebody that should be in law, be in engineering, is still a global phenomenon. In fact, the Ivy League schools are battling it now. Let me explain to you. There are 9 types of intelligences that human beings have. Only the entire educational system is based on only one, the book IQ. There are 9 other types. Kinesthetic intelligence, what sport people have. Kanu is very intelligent, but we score 0 in your IQ test. But when he moves his leg, it's a lot of intelligence going on. It's called kinesthetic intelligence. There's also spatial intelligence. Intelligence that looks at a space and creates something massive. And people that can see space, all manner of intelligences. Our entire educational system as a planet is rooted only in one, IQ, mass. On a scale, you must score 10 from reading. Some people cannot read jack. But if they meet people here now, everybody here, social intelligence, will defer to them. Before you know, they convert everybody into one party. And they collect money from all of you. So who is more intelligent?
I think...
so it's a global failure.
I think US has tried, based on the fact that their system is far different from that. Now, you see a lot of basketballers who are not good academically, but they allow them to come to the school based on that one psychomotor or kinesthetic intelligence that they have.
May I help you?
Sir,
Basketballers in that category.
I'm just talking to them. I'm going to go to so many.
Oh yeah, start.
Now, you see a lot of criminals, like Frank Abagnale. You have so many other cases of criminals who have not book intelligence. They are drafted. In my school, in my university, they caught a student who used his wristwatch to carry expo. You know what they call expo chips. And once he turns it, the next page is another page of chips. Now, a lot of us were arguing that, that if this was America, they'll carry this boy and then groom him and train him. And that's what we've seen from what they do. Probably from films or something, where some of them sell the culture to us. But some of this we know actually does happen.
How many friends you have in America?
It's not always the way they portray it.
It is not always the way they portray it. We've used India and Bollywood as an example.
Wait. My chairman.
Sir.
I have friends in the educational system in America. Kamal knows Yemi Fowe. He's an education psychology researcher in America. Sir Ken Robinson lectures in American schools. He's fighting mainstream American education now. What you are describing is like 10% of the population actually. Their educational system is still running IQ. The basketballers, for every basketballer who makes college, based on, first of all, out of 10 basketballers, only 2 or 3 will make college based on basketball alone. The majority will make it as a combination, which means you have only 2 majors out of the 4 you are supposed to have, but you also have intelligence in psychomotor or kinetics to help you to be a prime basketballer, and this school needs basketballers. Do you understand what I'm saying? They will now match 50-50 for you. So they wait it and then you have 90-something, which is what you need to enter the school. Do you understand me? But it's only 10 out of 100 basketballers in America that have the opportunity at all. There are loads of the guys in the streets playing from block to block. In Yoruba, Lano. That is when they dunk ball here, bah. Where to land, you won't believe it. And yet, they have to pass through the IQ route to even enter the school. So that when you have a basketball team of 6 people, or let's say 12 people, those who enter that way, based on pure that type of intelligence alone, are no more than 3 for the entire team. While another 3 we enter with mixture of the grades, and the remaining 6 they passed IQ to come and show in college that they are strong. America as an economy is battling what I'm saying. Please Google Saki and Robinson between the UK and the US, the fight that's going on. I'm telling you right now that the Ivy League schools are trying to force fit it. The Ivy League school, the only way to enter is if you pass a certain high amount or you pay through your nose or you have money. Where it's supposed to 40 million US dollars, if you're able to pay $120 million, they will take you. The guy who doesn't have sufficient book IQ, but is the highest socially intelligent person, will never be able to go to an Ivy League school. Why shouldn't he be in an Ivy League school? When he'll be the one that will employ everybody at the end of the day. These are the challenges. It's a global problem. Have you heard it before that global HR has failed? The challenge is talent management. The problem with talent is that it is too individual and the curriculum is individualized. So you cannot put it to science very well. Because people have different scenarios, different upbringings and factors playing. So you can't put it into a classroom curriculum. The word curriculum vitae is course of life, which is individual. I saw your hand.
Yes,
Some people are feeling sleepy because this is getting long. It's getting too intellectual.
Well, at that point, I just wanted to say that everything you have said is right. I mean, I saw you for the first time. You saw me for the first time today, and everything that you've done. I tried to consciously find fault in what you have said, but I've not found one. You know, when I was in Polytechnic, I was the president of the college for 2 years. When I was in university, I was president of the college for 3 years. Even before I left the university, I started the ministry of my which we were okay. I mean, outside we were all running, and then we almost completed our permanent site.
You almost completed your permanent site now. You are running. You know why? You know why? You have accepted in your mind that I will be a pastor. That's all that's going on. It's not even yet that you are very anointed. I want people to see the difference. It's not even, it is that whatsoever a man, he said nobody will be able to withdraw that with you have imagined to do it and it's set in your mind. That's just the principle you're operating with. I'm not saying you're not anointed, please understand me. And remember, I'm talking in the realm of psychology, that your mind is set. Do you understand what I'm saying? Such that your body just have to follow. The only way you know how to live life is to be a pastor. If they remove ministry from you now, you can easily in 2 years die. Yes, because human beings that give up. Jesus Christ gave up the ghost. If you decide now that if something happens and they say you can't pastor again, you literally can commit suicide. Which means you don't take poison, your organs will shut down because the realm controlling your will, intellect, and emotion has been disconnected from its meaning and life. Let me say this for people that are very spiritual. Please understand that for me, it is my assignment and in terms of ministry calling to help people find their purpose and direction. But that is still an expectation, maybe from the mind of God or whoever. I needed to go read. In your case, you did fellowship. The more you do those things physically, the more you become that person that you saw. I needed to call camera. What I'm doing is I'm testing. Remember, I did 18 years, due diligence, reading all manner of nonsense. Now I'm testing. The time is coming when I will say this is who I am. If you like, take it, leave it. Because now, I want to use scriptural terms. You have, in the use of this thing, attained mastery. So you must engage those inner talents and exercise them. As you begin to do, how do you become doctor? You do a certain number of practicals. You be in the room. So you can't call yourself an OAP, and you are not OAP anything. You can't say I'm creative, and you're not creative. You are a creative, which is only creative. You understand? You can only say you are a creative because you are just three other people. So the only way we know you are a creative person is if you begin to create. So how do people become stuff is what we are discussing now. How do you become this thing now? You are a pastor here, pastor there. Any church you get to now, the GO there will put you somewhere. You all sit down like this. Say, pastor, how are you, sir? And they won't call you evangelist or prophet or apostle. They call you pastor. Because you have soaked. You probably work with a pastor who subconsciously, he didn't need to say this is how a pastor sits. You understand what I'm saying? It's only pastors that nod the way you are nodding at the angle you are, the way you are writing, the way you are standing. It's only a pastor that does. All those things you picked up, so you have become that thing. So how does that become a doctor? You doctor for many years. How do you become a consultant? You do further doctoring. You now see deeper problems. So when you pastor 2,000 people now, it's going to be different. There are things now that you are doing now. Don't let me, I'm going too deep. You are doing that is short-circuiting you going to 2000. But you see, because prosperity follows the soul. Once the realm of your will, emotion, and intellect accepts something, your body follows that way. So that's what's happening to you. Not even anointing yet. So people can have anointing like thunder. But because their mind has not accepted that thing, the realm of their will, intellect, and emotion has not accepted that thing, there will be a mismatch. Does that make sense? This is why prophecy don't come to pass in people's lives. So many words of prophecy. Until your mind accepts it. And the way we know your mind has accepted is that your life, your behavior, will start arranging itself around that thing. And you don't need to. Some ladies will not be attractive to you. As I said here now, you'll be looking at them like Jelly. You understand? If when you are quiet and when you just see music and organ, they are doing church and clapping, there's a way your heart will be doing. Because you have programmed yourself into a state of frenzy. Some people you'll be talking, who think is anointed, say it's anointed. So people don't know in church. There's a difference between anointing and what their mind can do. There are pastors collecting money from people in Lagos just because of the mind. They know how to manipulate people's mind now. I will start saying some things here now. I should not teach you everything one day. But sometimes I can start saying here now that you really think that it's anointed. It's not correct. It's just me using a lot of word and body language and psychology. You understand? People will think you are a pastor before me because your body language, the way you are constructed. But people will think I'm a consultant before you because of the way I'm talking, the choice of words I'm using, and all of those things. So it's about how much you give yourself to that predominant thought in your mind. All right? Can we go on?